Hello, everybody. This is Lips from the Band Anvil. You are listening and watching CMS TV.
All right, so where you want to go here, man?
Well, I had a couple different topics I had somewhat prepared.
All right.
The Levi's, I'll scratch off the list. We talked about Sea Glass Hunters. We promoted the Fright Bite. That's good. I did a trip this weekend to the old Mission San Luis Rey. I don't know.
All right, well, we can do that.
Watchers would want to check that out. This is a landmark in Oceanside here. And I want to look a few things up because I know,
all right,
depending on what you bring up first.
Well, the one I'm going to bring up is Jesus Passing. Is that not a good one?
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can go through all of them. They had a lot of statues. Now this is this is an old mission, an old church from the 1800s. It was also an military outpost for a bit. They have a whole museum, but it's actually like a pretty spectacular place. I've always known it and kind of passed it from the highway, but when I drove for Lyft, I've taken old ladies to church there and picked them up. I've never actually tripped around there, and it's beautiful. And they have some crazy statues of the Stations of the Cross kind of vibe. And some of the videos are of that where I kind of you can put those on full screen, the videos or whatever, or I could just This was the first one I saw, but look how pretty even the grounds are. I mean, it looks like somewhere you would shoot a motion picture or something. Yep, Jesus doing his walk. Yeah, it's a lot of Jesus doing his final walk around these different statues. The lighting wasn't so good on this one, I wish, because the detail's pretty magnificent. And
now,
in the background,
this place? Where
this is in Oceanside. It's the Mission San Luis Rey. Susan there for a second. Yeah, I just kind of did a whole just kind of walk around on that one. And by the way, you don't have to put volume on these. There's not really a need for, because it's probably windy and sounds like shit.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I'll just try to do some kind of commentary on it on each one.
All right, well, that's wrong button. We need a producer.
Okay.
Please
by the way, I wanted to say, because I did take a picture, because I want to say what the mission is. The Mission San Luis Rey, known as the King of the Missions, is the 18th of the 21 Spanish missions that were built in Alta, California. It was founded in 1798 by Padre Fermin Francisco de Lusuen, successor to Padre Junipero Serra. It was named after Saint Louis the Ninth, King of France, who lived during the 13th century. Today's San Luis Rey remains a working Franciscan mission and home to Franciscan friars living and working in the community. The mission features a historic and active cemetery, an extensive museum and museum store, a retreat center, and the original historic church.
Which we're showing right now.
Right, that's the church. The bells go off and all that. What's crazy is I didn't realize they have such a I would say, fairly big cemetery there.
Right.
You could pay we found out you could pay $1,800 and have your ashes scattered there, where they just you don't get a permanent plot or something. They just throw your ashes.
Throw them out.
Yeah. But there is stuff ranging there. I have to say, it was that part I wasn't mentally prepared for. I was expecting to go to the church, and I was expecting to look at the church grounds. They even have a maze, like in The Shining.
Right.
which was kind of interesting. With that, we missed. I want to go back to go get that, and I wanted to go in the museum part of it, but while we got there at like 3:30, and the place was like closing at 4, so we had to like when you have to run around really quick and kind of see everything.
What led you to this place? I mean,
we were looking to go
looking for something
exercising. Yeah, it was a beautiful day, and Susan and I were like, well, let's go try to go on a hike or something, and she actually brought it up because she had wanted to check it out because they have like amazing gardens, and they have you'll see as they go. I'll just keep altogether I think there was like 10 short videos. And this guy was funny. It was like a dude in the park. I don't know which friar. That's obviously a statue of one of the friars.
Right.
Like, hey dudes,
what up?
I have a huge hand. You know what that means?
He could fit in some of those Levi jeans.
That's right. Do you have those in an extra large?
Got those that are extra large in a certain area.
Yeah.
Here's another.
Yep, that was a pretty badass statue of Mother Mary there. I haven't actually watched all these, but
it is pretty cool.
Chris and I were talking that we needed more visuals for the show, and then I forgot all about it because I was busy with other shit. And then Tay's like, "So, do you have videos?"
Yeah, it's like, I was working all day.
Sheesh. No, maybe. And then I go, "Oh wait, I got videos from yesterday when we went to this place." I mean, I'm always like amazed by people that can sculpt cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, how long do you think this takes to make one of these things?
It's not even really doing it justice because on some of these, the lighting, because of where the sun was at, it was like too shadowy. And I don't know, sir, how long it takes to do that. But the detail on the hands and stuff like that, it's like they have fingerprints.
Yeah. And this is definitely not something that's done like
the assumption of Mary, the assumption that she didn't actually have sex with someone and got pregnant, but
surprised you go to something like this. I just don't see.
I'm not the Antichrist. I definitely believe that there's a God, of a higher power, a creator of the planet. The Jesus thing is interesting to me, but I'm not really big on religion and all the. Yeah,
I was gonna say I don't see you sitting around celebrating this shit.
No, I'm not sorry, but I mean, I'll tell you, this could have been.
This is just like an art museum for you.
This could have been like Darth Vader when he got, taken down by Luke, and you showed Darth Vader with his helmet off and Luke coming over to him and holding him. It would have still made me kind of go, whoa, whatever the old story. But look at the detail, man. On
that's what I'm saying, on the beard and stuff.
Now, one thing I'll say, he's in fantastic shape, that Jesus. But I was going, man, he does. That's what real culture looks like. Exactly, dude. Broseph 420. I appreciate beauty in nature. I appreciate beauty in art, and I really appreciated these statues, regardless of religion or what my thoughts are on it. I was like, I know who that is, but checking out, I do in my mind. I kind of wonder. I'm like, why was he always looking so hungry when he could make fish and wine anytime?
He wasn't near the water.
Is that it? It was like I could do the trick, but I have to be near the water for it to work.
Yeah. Can't make fish. Okay. He may have been able to make the fish jump in the boat, but he sure wasn't able to make it jump out of the desert. Somehow that didn't happen.
Good point. You got me there. Maybe. Now this was like, whoa, this is like if you had your action figures and we're making some kind of action scene with your old army guys, because they have like, remember the old plastic army guys? That have
exactly.
Base plate?
This is like the army of the version of Passion of the Christ.
No, it was the Romans.
These are the Romans. I'm just saying that they're like frozen in action.
Mm-hmm. They're like getting their whip on there. It's.
Did you ever see that movie, Passion of the Christ?
I saw it once. It's
Dude, it is some gruesome shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, when people celebrate the worst part of Jesus's,
it's showing you what Jesus did for you.
For you, yeah, what he went through at the very.
That's what he
for
went
me
through
personally.
For you.
That's right. I will do this for who? Erik, Ferentino.
That's right.
And Chris Aiken. You don't know who they are yet, but you will.
I have a feeling that I need to save Erik and Chris.
That's right.
So
the Chris Aiken Presents must exist, and I will go through whatever I have to ensure that happens.
So line those whips with prongs and beat them into my skin and rip chunks out.
This was a society here. Dr. Peter Monturo, to promote and encourage the growth of spirituality. The society. It was the Via Dolorosa Society. I don't know the story of that, but
I don't know.
They did the create life-size bronze works of art depicting the Stations of the Cross is made possible through the devotion and generosity of many donors. He died for your sins. Well, thank you, dude, bro. So
I thank Jesus for that because I certainly love watching Pornhub. Thank you, Jesus.
That was nice of him to look out for us.
I appreciate him letting me watch X videos by taking that baiting. Because I like me some porn.
Are you ever going to turn your ID over to watch that as the states turn away from or the website the websites don't want to operate in those areas? I'd never do it.
Porn?
They do that, yeah. Like I'm almost trying to, the whole age verification thing. Like half the states right now, if you went to try to go on Pornhub, it doesn't work there.
Really?
Don't ask me how I know that.
Well, it still works here. I love it. Maybe I'll start.
No,
I better start.
Ohio, they're like, have fun.
I better start saving some, maybe? Is that what you're telling me? I better start backing some up?
Well, no, it's interesting. I mean, they do block it. It's totally blocked in some states. Other ones have some age verification possible thing going on. I don't know. It's interesting. It's
how are you going to block porn altogether? I'll just use a VPN.
Well, that's what's weird is I guess most people just use that. Pornhub must be just the main go-to for most people.
Well, Pornhub is the most obvious, dude. And I mean, if they block Pornhub, first they're going to have to stop OnlyFans, because OnlyFans is definitely way more popular than Pornhub right now. Which I don't get. I don't get why the pay site is more costly than the free site. But
I heard about that the girls, that anybody who's making money, it's usually just one or two persons that's paying them on there. It's not like they have actually a ton of people giving them money.
It's some rich Saudi guy, that has like all the oil money or something.
Yep, they just need to find one guy to make their money.
I just watched a show yesterday on Tubi about OnlyFans and how it was about some OnlyFans chick that killed her boyfriend, and it was like a whole thing. But it was sort of about her, but a lot of it was about how OnlyFans works. And man, oh man, they really do normalize porn. They have totally and again, I love porn, so I'm certainly not against porn, but they have really. I was surprised hearing it and then actually putting the words together, hearing people talk about how normal porn is now. Yeah. Like dude, even 10 years ago, you couldn't really come out and just say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna beat off watch something."
We're the old generation. They want to make sure the new generation doesn't look at it that way. Now, what I can tell you, that it is detrimental to a lot of young people for lots of reasons. But a lot less relationships going on over it. And also a lot of probably inadequacy issues, because for one, the guys looking at these dudes hung like horses and feeling inadequate, and then you got women that are doing things that normal women never do or want you to do or think feels good, and it leaves everybody confused. And it's I mean, it has its place, you know what I mean? But at the
all
same
leading
time,
to robots.
Yeah, it's got way more of a dark side than a bright side.
Well, it does. It definitely does. Look, believe me, I know. Believe me, I'm as dark as they come. That's why I love porn so much. But porn for guys, I'm only speaking as a guy, and I'm speaking specifically for myself. Porn is for the lazy. Porn is for the lazy, and porn is for the person that is not willing to put up with any more bullshit.
Right.
Like,
you're onto something there.
And I'll admit to both. One, I'm not willing to jump through all the hoops to get laid anymore. Pussy's not that important. So that's the first thing. But the bigger issue is marriage, relationships. Especially marriage is such a bad contract now. And it's been proven over time for someone like me that owns businesses, how could I get into a marriage?
Right.
How could I screw my kids over for when I drop dead? Mm-hmm. Well, you got to give half to this chick that you've known for 3 years or 5 years or whatever.
Right.
Even though you guys help build the businesses. How could I do that? I couldn't do that. That's dumb. So it's easier to stay with hot chicks on Pornhub and a good thing of hand cream.
It's the limited edition 6-big set from Eric Tarantino's. Get your autograph set today at ericpix.cmspn.com. $25 includes first class shipping.
I drag the floor with the keys to your city. I scratch your surface down into your life. I see the signs that we're here for trouble. The hard road and the left behind. Killing time on things that money can buy.
So you were saying about porn.
There he is.
Dude, I had to reboot my whole computer. I don't know what happened there. My computer, all of a sudden, it just said, you have no internet. And I was like, well, my phone has internet. What the fuck is going on here? My computer just lost it for a minute. But
I did okay.
Right,
I started having to do a whole like dialogue thing, and I was like, oh.
You're like, now I see why the fat guy's here, because he can do that part.
Especially, when I have like a brain, I forget what I'm even talking about. I have like a stoner moment where I'm like, Chris, how are you?
Well, I'll edit all that shit out. It's all good.
Okay. Anyway, I'm going to do that too. Like after the show tonight, definitely send me the show so I could do an edited version for my Facebook to promote on there. Yeah. And that would be cool.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, I didn't know. One thing I was telling you that you didn't hear that I was telling about the people was just the cemetery part. There was a few more videos on there. I don't know. But the cemetery part was just kind of like awakening because I saw so many people that didn't live a full life, Chris. There, like you look at the dates,
right?
Because it said what year they were born and what year they died. You're like, well, this person died at like 52, or this guy died at 55. And I was surprised there was way more people that died under 60 than there was that died over 60. So I thought that was interesting. This was a cool little part. This is some special part of it where like there's nobody buried in there since the 80s.
Okay.
And those are all pretty old. But I kind of I forgot what you call that, like a mausoleum?
Mausoleum, yeah.
That was kind of interesting. The big rip. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Are you getting buried or are you getting creamed?
Well, we were talking about that. I guess it's okay if they were to cremate me. I mean, Susan and I were discussing what the pros and cons of doing such a thing as far as a burial versus a cremation.
Right.
What is the purpose of actually buying a plot, and how long is that good for? I mean, you think, if you have people like you have kids of people that want to come visit your final resting place, it would make sense. But for somebody maybe who doesn't have kids or no one liked them, what's the point, right? Nobody's going to come visit your grave. If you don't think anybody's going to visit the grave anyway, you should probably scratch that off as an option.
Sure. I always tell my kids, don't even claim the body. I'm like, just don't bother. Why waste the money?
Right. Apparently, so I asked her. She was my only reference with this because she's had her parents pass away. This was a very cool mosaic of the Holy Spirit bird. I don't know, but this is pretty badass.
Yeah, it's cool. I want to go back to the cremation for a minute, dude.
Yeah.
Here's the everybody that goes cremation has the grand plan. Everybody when they say they're getting cremated, it's always followed by, Joe wanted his ashes spread, blah 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 blah, whatever, and it's always something unrealistic. Joe
he wants you to smoke it in a joint. He wants you to roll up his ashes.
He was a big Baltimore Orioles fan, so he wanted his ashes to be spread in the third baseline of the Baltimore stadium because his favorite player was Brooks Robinson or whatever. It's always something stupid that you're never gonna do. you're going to call the Orioles, and they're going to be like, no, we're not putting your dead guy's ashes on our baseball field. You know, they're just not going to do it. So you're either going to sneak it in and dump it in some piss stain in the bleachers somewhere,
Right.
or I'm going to use my mom here, which I probably shouldn't. It's mean, but I'm going to anyway.
Go ahead. I do it all the time.
She got my dad cremated when my dad passed away. And she had him baked into this big circle disc thing. It's big. It's
A laser disc?
No, it's like the size of a manhole cover. It's a big old stupid looking thing. And the reason she got it done that way was he was like into fishing when he was he was like on a big boat fisherman, like the crab fisherman that you see on those types of shows. He was like a lobster fisherman when he grew up in
Deadliest Catch.
Yeah, so he was into that when she met him. So that was the thought, was I'm going to take this out on a boat and I'm going to throw it in the water, and the disc itself dissolves in the water with the salt water, blah, blah, blah. Whole thing, right? Honestly, I don't know that it ever came out of her closet. If it did come out of her closet, I wasn't told of it. But as recently as the pandemic, it was still in her closet. Like, she had this grand plan. She paid a bunch of money for this shit. For what? And it's a brick of disintegrating shit that sits in her closet.
A dissolvable death disc.
Yeah,
Sounds
and God
pretty
forbid
metal.
she gets a roof leak or something, then my dad will be his ashes will be spread in the closet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like...
Now, are we also aware, like, how many places require a permit, including the ocean?
Yeah.
You're supposed to get a permit to, like, throw ashes in the ocean, if you could believe that.
Meanwhile, there's islands of trash out there, but you can't
Right.
you can't dump one thing this big full of ashes into it.
Right.
Ridiculous.
She was saying, you know, she doesn't want to leave her kids with the burden of having to carry around even an urn. You know what I mean? She liked the idea of maybe just tossing her ashes at like the Mission or somewhere like that. I don't know. I mean, I haven't had a very close loved one pass away where I was given something like that. I think I would hold on to it to keep them nearby, and then if I moved, I could take it with me, because if there's a plot that was purchased, well, what if your kids have to move away because they can't afford to live in California anymore?
What if the cemetery gets foreclosed on?
Yeah, like, how many years are you allowed to, like, do you pay to get buried there? But what is it? You pay a big fee, and then 50 years, 100 years? When did they take a bulldozer and put a whole new batch there?
Well, and what is the guarantee that some fucking cemetery is going to pay their taxes? And if they don't pay their property taxes, doesn't the state come in and take it?
There's been all kinds of weird stories that I've seen in the past, where they're like stacking ones on top of each other, just weird stuff. Never burying them; they're actually out in the back somewhere, rotting away.
Oh, where's this comment here? It may have given her comfort, may have, and I'm not arguing that point. My bigger point is that kind of stuff is just nonsense. First of all, the loved one doesn't know. I mean, even if you do believe in, if you're a hardcore Bible thumper person that believes that they ascend and they're looking down on you and they're checking everything out, if heaven is real, the last thing they're worried about is where the dead carcass is buried.
Right.
They got a lot more important shit to worry about than that. Oh, what are you doing with my body?
Or if this is some Matrix thing where, you're actually somewhere else, you'd care about as much as you would with the video game character you had that died.
I mean, all of that stuff. When my dad died, and I don't know how we're getting into this, but whatever. When my dad died, he died at 5:00 in the morning. And by 1:00 in the afternoon, we were already at the funeral place making arrangements, and I hadn't slept in like 2 or 3 days. I was literally sitting right next to my dad when he stopped breathing, so I have that fun memory in my brain. But needless to say, it'd only been like 5 or 6 hours, and then we're back already, no sleep at this funeral thing. And my mom and my brother, they're good at faking it, I guess, or maybe they were being sincere. I don't know, but they're whipping through all these cards and what phrase do you think your loved one would have liked on the back of the card, and and I'm just
getting you while the tears are wet.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting there, and they're talking about cards and flowers and this room and how do we separate these people, and I'm just like,
right,
he doesn't give a fuck,
right,
and I don't give a fuck. The last thing I'm worried about is making some fucking dead guy trading cards.
The best way to probably circumvent that, or if you're okay with the cremation part, maybe pay for it in advance, but buy the urn while you're alive that you want. If there's some special urn you want to buy it so your kids don't have to figure that stuff out. Buy it ahead of time. Go, this is the urn I want to be put in. Here's the $1,200, that you pay the morgue to do this, because apparently that's what you do. It's like $1,200. They'll do it. Otherwise, I guess you would unclaim it, like Chris was referring to before. But and they will actually mail you a box that has the ash in it. It's a box, and then from there, that stuff that potentially goes to a church for a service or something. But depending on what you had laid out ahead of time, I want this urn, I want my friends to get together somewhere, and you let that know. And you should probably do that if you're over 50, because by the looks of the ages in this cemetery, man, geez.
Sure. Well,
any day could be our last day.
Hey, it's Chris Aiken from Chris Aiken Presents, The Classic Metal Show, and The Seth Williams Show. Now, we know it's frustrating to have to use this website for videos, that website for podcasts, and still another for the live shows. Well, let's end that shit right now. Get the Locals app and get it all in one place. This is free, folks. You don't have to pay to get most of the great content that we're doing. Like I said, it is free. On your phone or device, just go to locals.com in your iOS or Google Play Store, install it, and create an account. Open the app, surf to the search from the bottom, and type in Classic Metal Show. Then click Join. That's it. Once you join, you can click on the triangle button at the bottom, and you can select from videos, live streams, both past and active, or podcasts. Watch and listen right there. When a stream is live, you can participate in the chat right from that screen if you choose. If you want our exclusive content, just click support when you visit the Classic Metal Show community. It's simple, and it's the best way to stay engaged with all of my shows, so sign up today. Hail and